And bring our guest on board, Brad, the Chief Technology Strategist at Wedbush Securities, now joining us here. Hi, Brad. Thanks so much for being a part of our program, India Tonight. I guess we'll know it all in 2 hours. The big expectation, of course, is the iPhone 12, which will be 5G compliant, which we don't have the network for as yet. And of course, the HomePad Mini, the speaker, ahead of which we've seen the Apple stores slowly phase out Bose, Logitech, Sonos, etc.
Yeah, today's event, I think globally everybody's paying attention to what Apple's new phones will have, and really probably closer to attention to how much each of these phones will cost. Given the 5G chips, these phones were actually a lot more expensive to build. And it'll be interesting to see if Apple's able to lower prices like they did with iPhone 11, if they're able to maintain prices, or if they have to increase prices for the 12 series.
Right, Brad, hi, good evening. This is Ruchi Bhatia. You hit the nail on the head. Pricing is going to be an important factor to watch out for. What is the range that you're looking for the new phones, even as we're looking at the fact that, at least in the leaked pictures, it shows that the newer phones are likely to have a smaller screen, even though they will be 5G compliant?
Yeah, it's such a good question and good point. It's really the most important question for this new iPhone launch is the price point. So there's going to be 4 different variations of this new phone. There'll be a 5.4-inch mini, which will be the first time they're introducing this form factor. There'll be 2 6.1-inch variant phones. So there'll be one 6.1 that's a little bit less spec'd out. There'll be one that's more feature rich. And then there'll be a larger phone that's 6.7. On the low end, on 5.4-inch, we expect prices to be around $700. If maybe they're able to get that to $649 or even maybe lower, I think it's going to be pretty tough for them to be able to lower prices below that. I think the expectation is around $699 starting point for the very smallest, lowest capacity phone. And I think that probably goes all the way up to maybe $1,400 on the highest spec, largest screen.
That's, Apple has taken a conscious decision in 2020 that it's not going to come out with discounts, sales, offerings for its consumers even during the pandemic. If you look at the share price of Apple, the shareholders don't seem to be complaining. But having said that, a new 5G phone, a new speaker for which it wants to take on giants, including, of course, Amazon and Alexa, it's quite a gamble.
So Apple itself has never really been the cheaper offering. So if you look at Macs, they've always had a more expensive offering with Macs. If you look at iPhones, they've always held a premium price over Android competitors. So Apple has the belief that they don't need to lower prices because they have such a large install base that will and wants to buy iPhone or iOS products. So you're absolutely right. They have not discounted, and you're not going to see much discount coming from today's event in terms of how much these phones are going to cost. And the very interesting thing here is if you look at these phones compared to the Android competition, these phones are less featured. They have less features than the highest end phones out in the marketplace. So it's funny to me to see that you have a company introducing a new phone with technology that's not brand new, with a price point that's at the very high end of the entire spectrum. But it is something that Apple has done. They have not cut prices. Moving on to the speaker side, it's not going to be a zero-sum game. Meaning, Amazon Alexa and others are also going to be doing quite well if you look at the competition. Now, if you look at the Google side, maybe they probably have the most devices with Google voice technology, and that's really based on the Android OS. But I don't think you're going to see a concern from investors looking at the price points or the offerings.
Right. Brad, I'm a huge fan of the Apple AirPods. Apple has also been working on a new high-end over-ear headphones as well for some time now. What's the possibility that we may be seeing the new high-end over-ear headphones also coming in and being launched in today's event?
Yeah, it's a great question, and thanks for bringing that one up. I actually don't think they're going to announce it. So you're talking about the Apple AirPods Studio, and to me, it's actually very surprising the price point that I'm hearing on that Studio. I'm hearing at the very low end a lower end spec will start at around $300, with the Pro Series being around $600 for that iPhone AirPods Studio. To me, I don't see many people wanting to spend $600 for these earphones, but things have surprised me before. I don't think you're going to get this at the launch today at all. So I'd be surprised. I think there was an expectation earlier that you may. I don't think you're going to. I think this event is going to be almost purely focused on iPhones.
Okay, Brad, here's an open invitation to be back with us to discuss what all it is that Apple actually does end up announcing. 10:30 p.m. in less than 2 hours from now, we will see the high-speed event go online. Thanks a lot once again for joining us.